My name is Ahkima, and we're in the village of Bacavi, and this is my studio in here with my work. And you can see I got some pictures of my work of different types of drawings and paintings, originals and prints. We're in the Plaza House of Bacavi.
I'm sure these old beams now. This house was built during the split from
1908.
1908 was the split from at the old Aribe. And this is one of the very first houses, right, Ahkima, that were settled in when the people split from old Aribe, the traditionals, and the hostiles, correct? Is that how it's said?
Yeah.
Ahkima knows a lot more about this than me. And you can tell from my videos, and Ahkima and I are going to go back in some canyons later. We're going to go back and visit my buddies on Old Aribe. We're going to take Ahkima over there to visit some of my friends. And hopefully we can go out and look at some of the, take Ahkima out to see some of the petroglyphs on Old Aribe if my buddy Lonnie's alive still. And we're just going around Ahkima's little studio here. Like I've said before, I think Ahkima is one of the best Hopi artists there are.
Up and coming.
How old are you, Ahkima?
30.
Ahkima's, there you go, you heard he's 30 years old. Here's some of his ancestral past here. And just show some more of his stuff. And Ahkima also does carvings. And there's a couple of Ahkima's little kachinas there. And one more of Ahkima's art. I hope this shows up because we got a reflection going in here today. It's nice and bright up here today. The gods have blessed us. There's no wind blowing. And I was up in Sholo yesterday recording, and the winds were terrible. And just some more of Ahkima's work here we're showing. Give it a second for the camera to focus. There it goes. And you got the red ribbons. Where's the blue ribbons for, Ahkima?
That was for the weavings.
Oh, that was for the weavings at the Heard Museum then, wasn't it?
Sash. And this is an example of one right here.
And here's an example of one of Ahkima's beautiful sashes. God, that is beautiful, Ahkima.
Yeah, this is one side of it. And the other side is, you can see I'm still working on it, on the loom.
And here's the loom that Ahkima works on here. Bacavi has electricity, and that's why you're seeing the speakers and stuff like that.
Bacavi.
I'm sorry, Bacavi is how you say it. Okay, well, I'll remember that then. Some more of his work here. And we'll let the camera concentrate here. And once you explain to people the significance of the ladder
In the kiva?
and a kiva, because it's like it represents the navel, right? Coming back out up the top.
Yeah, it's like a reed, like in the beginning creation stories.
Right, exactly, coming from inside the earth, right?
The underworld.
From the underworld.
Up into the present, they came out of a reed.
Now, Ahkima, do you know? I'll get that too, dear. Do you know the Hopi Emergence Story very well?
Yeah, kind of.
Would you like to kind of tell it to us here real quick? Or do you want to not attempt to? It's up to you, bud. Because I've recorded it before by somebody else. But I'm not too sure how Hopi this guy was. Well, he's a dancer in the valley.
Yeah. Because I was going to do a painting of that, the emergence.
You're going to do oh, well, you should, actually.
Yeah, but I was going to do it in petroglyph form.
Oh, cool. And that's where Ahkima and I are going later to look at some petroglyphs in a canyon back here. And Ahkima, let's put you in front of one of your artwork or something like that if you want to. Your loom, however you want to do this. And let's have you want to do it right there up against your loom. And you want to get in front of here where the light's good on you, bud. And let's go ahead and tell the world the real Hopi Emergence story.
Well, a long time ago in the beginning, the worlds were all corrupt, I guess, as you can say, like now. And under the underworld, there was a lot of bad things going on, like corruption, and the leaders of olden days were corrupt and stuff like that. But anyway, the good people decided to get together and they wanted to leave, and so they had meetings and they wanted to get out of the underworld. So they had to send 3 birds, or what they created, a couple of birds. One was the swallow. Another one of the birds was I can't remember what the other birds were, but there was 3 birds, and they send them up one by one to well, actually before that they planted trees. See, I have to remember all this.
Yeah, it's a hard story to remember, and I've written about it, but I had references when I did it, so.
Because they heard thumping noises on the top, and they were wondering what the thumping noises were. They're like, what's that noise? So they would send things up there, or they wanted to know what was up there. So they would plant trees to pierce the sky, or the underneath. So they would try different trees. They tried a spruce tree. They tried a pine tree. None of those trees could penetrate the earth or the sky, I guess. So they planted a reed tree, and that reed pierced through, and they went up and they made an opening. And so they could see some lights up there, and they're like, what's going on up there? So they didn't have figured out a way to go up, and that's when they created the birds. So they made songs and, you know, created different birds to go up there. And they tried 3 times. 2 of those birds would go so far, and they'd go and they'd come back and say they can't find nothing. And then, until the last bird would go up there, and he would find the Mesa, who was up there up on top, that was making the thumping noises. And he would go up there and go fly around, and he'd found them. And the people asked the bird to tell Mesa if it was okay we can come up, because of the corruption that's going on down below. And they wanted to leave all that stuff, and everything was bad, like today, like how today is. And so they wanted to leave. So they asked Mesa permission if they can come up, and they went up there, and they say, okay, you select few can come, but only on one condition, that you live with the planting stick and seeds, like the old traditional ways. I mean, I'm gonna give you a way of life to live. And so the bird was telling the bird this, and he said, okay, bring him up. So the bird went all the way back and flew back down, and he told the people that they can come up. So they had all the good people and the leaders, they got together and they started climbing up this reed. And that's where you have the ladders and the kiva and stuff. But anyway, they started coming up one by one. Each people, different people would come up, and they would go see Mesa, and they had to go find him. And he told them what to do. The people, he gave them different languages and different clans and different just different directions to go, and told them you had to go and all over the world. And they gave them different ears of corn to choose from. Like you have to choose which corn is and it was pretty much a test, like a test of will or whatever, or wisdom and stuff. And all these people had to choose, and the Hopis were the ones that chose the smallest ear, the smallest corn. And because of that, that's where he gave us this land where we're at right now, the North America, which is pretty much the center of the earth. Because I know you hear about Africa and over there in Jerusalem and all that, but it's really here because it's the only continent where the earth reaches from North Pole to South Pole, where you can walk, where the lands connect. And so this is pretty much the spinal cord of the earth, where we live at. And Hopi land is right where the heart is. That's where we were put. And anyway, later on in the story, that's where we meet. But anyway, all the people were told to go in different directions and to look for him again. We were supposed to look for Mesa again. And we started going all over, and you're supposed to touch the 4 corners of the land. So we started walking around, and this took years. I mean, hundreds and thousands of years to do. And finally, they were able to come back, and the Hopis, or well, what before was the people on this land was originally called Hopis. There was no such things as Apaches or Navajos or anything like that. We were all one people. There was even no Mayans then. It was all Hopis. We were all considered the red people. But anyway, as time went on, you know, during migrations and stuff, certain clans and peoples, you know, they got tired of migrating. They didn't want to continue on. So they ended up settling in different areas, and that's how you get these different tribes and different languages and stuff, where they created their own ways because they didn't want to continue on the migrations. But the Hopis kept continuing until they were supposed to meet Mesa, and that was the whole plan. And so that's when they started going on and looking, and that's when they found Mesa and the Olaribi over here, and that's where they told him, or to look for him, and it was the Bear Clan that found him, I think. But there's a whole story about that too. And then just before that, that's when you had all these other clans started coming in. Then they had the two stars. I know everybody is talking about the two stars, the blue star and the yellow star. Well, I know it's seen on the History Channel, but what they're talking about on there, but everything they're saying on there is wrong. It's not the blue star, it's the yellow star. The blue star already came and went. That was the, as you can see in my painting right here, it's the blue star that went. That was the Halley's Comet, or Hale-Bopp, or whatever it was in 1100. That's the reason why I have him facing, because it's already went by. And that was the signal to stop migrating. Once you see that blue star, that was the signal to stop migrating. And the yellow star is the one that is going to be the doomsday. And that's why I have him facing this way, because that star is the one that's coming. And that's the one that's going to, when you see that in the sky, that's going to be the signal of the end times coming. And it's already up there. I don't know if you see it, but it's up there. It's getting brighter and brighter every year. But that's the story about these two. And there's a lot more into it, but it would take a long time to discuss. But that's pretty much how the emergence was, from what I can remember. I know I could explain it a little better, but I haven't. I'm just going by memory right now. I haven't.
Yeah, and we'll have, Ahkima and I are becoming pretty good friends here, and I'll come back up and we'll have Ahkima tell some other good Hopi stories, because I'm really personally getting tired of all the bullshit Hopi stories. Mm-hmm. And the world needs Ahkimas to set the record right, you know. And here I am, the white guy, defending Hopi stories because of all the crap. And I'm up here, and I think Ahkima and I are connected, and Ahkima may be the one that will now get the true story out of the Hopi to the rest of the world. And not some, and I hate to say it, I heard a guy on the internet talking the other night. He was Tewa. Everything he said was wrong. But some person from Europe got him recorded, set him in Sedona with a great view, and called him a wise old Hopi, when in fact he was from Walpi, which is Tewa, and not Hopi for the most part. And in fact, he was from Palaka and not even up on the hill.
Yeah, Walpi is Hopi, but it's the other village that aren't.
Right.
They're mixed,
yeah.
Tewa and Hopi.
Tewa and Hopi. So, thanks, Ahkima. And like I said, Ahkima and I will get together and we'll do some other good Hopi stories together. And I kind of pushed him into this at the last moment. Yeah, and so he still did a great job of it. And a better job than I've ever heard from all the stuff on the internet. So, once again, Ahkima, thank you. And Ahkima and I are going to go run around Third Mesa and look at some stuff. Go look at stuff together. So God bless everybody out there. And thanks once again, Ahkima. Mm-hmm.